Guys, I just found out my wife cheated on me and left me with a mountain of debt. Now my mother is disowning me. Here's exactly what went down. For as long as I can remember, my mother, entitled mother, has worked several jobs to pay her bills. As an adult, I got married and our combined income was pretty good, so we decided we would help take some financial stress off of her. So we started paying her phone bill and her utilities and bringing bags of groceries by once a week or so. Then one day, her car died and we decided to surprise her with a new one. We picked a small new silver Toyota mid-range, not all the bells and whistles, but still a nice car. When we gave it to her, she seemed very appreciative and happy. We told her we'd pay the monthly payment, the registration, and the insurance. The rest was up to her. She still worked full-time, but I had no idea where her money went. The plan was for her to take all those bills on again one day. We just never set a time for it to happen. Well, guys, fast forward 2 years later, and out of the blue, my wife cheated and took off, leaving me with a ton of debt, a house I could not afford on my own, and a broken heart. I called my mom and sobbed over the phone to her about how terrible I felt. She was sympathetic until I told her I would not be able to pay her bills anymore. In fact, she became totally silent. The conversation went as followed. "Hey, are you there? Did you just say I have to start paying my bills again, like my car payment and insurance?" "Yeah, I can't afford it anymore with just my salary, plus I'm going to lose my house." "I can't afford to start paying these bills." "Mom, I had no idea this was going to happen. I literally have no control over this." "I don't even want the car. I hate silver. You got me silver knowing how much I prefer white vehicles, and now you're telling me I have no choice but to pay for an ugly silver car I didn't even want. Plus, all the other things like insurance? You are the one who gave me those bills. Why should I pay them?" Guys, I'm speechless at her response, and then she shrieks, "How could you do this to me?" It's one sentence from her I'll never forget or forgive her for. My sadness turned to anger in a split second. How could I do this to you? My wife left me. I'm alone and feel like shit. I'm going to lose my house and my credit's going to be screwed. I barely make enough for my own bills, and you're going on about you? I've been paying your bills for over 5 years. Did you never once think that one day they'd be your bills again? Did you ever plan to pay things yourself again, or were you just assuming I'd keep paying everything until you die? You're the crappiest mother on the planet. I'm here heartbroken, lost, and depressed, and the only thing you can think about is yourself. Well, I hung up on her and cried even more. Maybe 15 minutes later, my phone rings and it's my sister. Figuring she'd just gotten off the phone with my mother, I answer. "Okay, you talked to Mom, what do you want?" "She's very upset." "So, what about me? Is that nobody cares what I'm going through right now? My life is in shambles and I'm devastated." "Well, you can't really blame Mom. You bought her that car. She didn't ask for it, and she only drives white vehicles." "She didn't have a car at all. If I hadn't gotten her that one, she would have to get a new one anyways. She's been driving it for over 2 years. Besides, she said at some point she'd be taking those bills back on. When was that going to happen?" You may just have to work something out with her. Just pay a little to help her get back on her feet. You can't just totally stop helping her." Yes, I can. I ran the numbers. I literally do not have a penny to give her anymore, and you know that. Even if I did, I wouldn't. I've been doing this for her for years, and that's the way she acted today. She doesn't deserve it. If she needs money from here on out, it's on you. This is the one time I need my family for support, and I'm clearly not going to get it. Well, she tried to defend the way my mother reacted, but I just hung up on her. I put my phone on silent and sat with my dogs in the dark, thinking about how I had nobody to lean on, since my mother and sister were such entitled people. Selfish little humans. After that first phone call, my mother did not reach out to me again to see how I was doing. I learned the hard way who my real friends and family were during that time. And spoiler alert, it wasn't my mother. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So what do y'all make of that story? I felt nothing but toxic vibes. It's a really crappy situation for OP to have to go through a breakup, being cheated on, losing all his money and his house. And on top of that, he's about to cut ties with his own mother. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comment section below. What would you have done if you were in OP's position? There's one comment in particular I want to read that supports OP and gives him a little boost. It states, "Screw them, OP. Get back on your feet and live your life. You'll have your dogs with you at least, who are loyal no matter what. And maybe you'll find a smaller place to live in that's quaint. Shit may have hit the fan, but all you need to do is mop it and clean it up and throw it away. And forget about it. Maybe a good air freshener will help you forget. Plus, you still got your job." Wow, guys, I do like that outlook. That was a very positive look. Our next story we're going to jump into today is an emotional roller coaster. I'll just go ahead and read the title of the next story. It states, "EM abandoned daughter for a son, harassed and slandered the girl and her adoptive father for her bone marrow 16 years later for that said son." And guys, this is a true story coming straight from China. I'm not going to lie, when I was reading this, I didn't believe it, but I looked it up and let me tell you, this is a true story. Well guys, let's hop right into it. This is a true story from China. When entitled mother had her second daughter, she decided that she doesn't want her. You see, while the family was given special permission to have 2 children, as opposed to the one-child policy in China, they wanted a son, and this extra girl is just an inconvenience taking up the precious spot for a boy. So, they abandoned her without hesitation. The next year, EM got pregnant with a boy who was spoiled to death in that family. The girl ended up with a man more than 300 kilometers away from her original village. He and his wife had 3 pregnancies, but all ended up as miscarriage. So, they adopted the girl, but divorced soon after because the stress that came with the adoption. For 16 years, he had been raising his adopted daughter on his own. This man is just a crab farmer and is nowhere rich, but he loved the girl as his own daughter. They were living in a quiet and happy life together, until one day, entitled mother turned up. Turns out, the son got leukemia and needed bone marrow. No one in the family had a match, so they turned to the daughter they abandoned 16 years ago, hoping that she would be a match. The father felt sorry for the 14-year-old boy. He agreed to take the girl to a hospital for a test, but he was afraid that the girl would know she was abandoned for her gender. So he made the entitled mother promise to not tell her that she's adopted. Guys, the girl was a match, and agreed to the procedure, under the impression that she was donating for a stranger. The adopted father then asked for a bond for the girl's health. In the beginning, he was misled into think that it was as simple as donating blood. However, when the doctors told him that donating bone marrow is a risky procedure, he was worried that if there's any complications, he won't have any means to save his daughter. The money would be returned to EM if the girl remains complication-free when she's married. EM refused. Then the father said don't worry about the money, but the surgery needs to be near where he's living, so he can take care of his daughter and still work. Entitled mother refused again, saying that it would be more expensive for them. The father hesitated and entitled mother freaking exploded. Entitled mother, her husband, and their eldest daughter marched to the girl's school right after class, stopped the car the girl was in, pulled open the door, grabbed the girl by her arm, and started yelling at her that she was adopted, they are her real family, and she needs to save her younger brother. The teachers had to physically intervene to stop them from taking her away. A bystander called the police. Even in the police station, entitled mother kept pressuring the girl for her bone marrow. The girl was in shock after knowing that she was adopted in such a violent way, and cried for the whole night. This put her into a lot of physiological stress. The next day, entitled mother printed out hundreds of open letters, calling both the girl and her father by name, saying that they are cold-blooded and the girl in particular is ignorant and does not understand morals. She even brought up the fact that the adoptive father experienced miscarriage to insult him. She emphasized that the boy is the girl's biological brother, just to put more pressure on the girl. She put this around the village the girl's living in, all the way to the girl's school, so both of them can't even go back to their own home. When she was asked about this later, she said, quote, "Did not think about what that would do to the girl." She even went to the village council and said that the girl is rightfully hers and she will take the girl back and make her donate that bone marrow. Of course, she was told the girl was legally adopted, so she has no rights over her. And if she does anything like that, it would be considered kidnapping. She started interfering with the girl on her way to and from school. A teacher had to drive the girl to and from for her safety. They even got assaulted by EM's relatives for their trouble. The entitled mother later went into a television program, probably wanting to bully the girl and her father into giving up her body rights. She got ripped apart on live TV. Later, they found another match on the donor database, so the boy is fine. The thing is, if she had been less entitled and cruel to the girl, she would have already donated her blood marrow. She could have doomed her son to death because of this. Wow, guys, what extreme entitlement. Tell me what you think about this story in the comment section below. There's one very specific comment that caught my eye. It's rather sad. It says, "Giving up children for adoption is very difficult in China, especially considering the two-child rule. They most likely literally abandoned her somewhere, and she was found and then put into fosterage. Best option considering how many female babies are left for dead, or where I think the laws and handling of the rule may have changed." If anyone listening has any insight on how adoptions in China work, and do they or not match this comment, if you know anything about that, drop your comments down below and let's see if this comment matches up. Guys, the next story we're going to look at today is a Would I Be the A-Hole story that involves a wedding party. If you're enjoying the content so far, click subscribe button underneath this video so you never miss an update. And if you are enjoying it, smash that like button. And let's check out this Would I Be the A-Hole story. Nearly a year ago, my best friend asked me to be her maid of honor. I was excited and I said yes and took the task very seriously. I've gone dress shopping with her for her dress, went shopping with her for bridesmaid dresses as well. I've spent hours addressing save dates with her. Keep in contact with her bridesmaids about ordering their dresses, planning jewelry and shoes in the color she wants. I made sure someone could organize her bridal shower because I was out of state for work 3 months, making sure they understood her wishes for the party. I also personally took the time to look through her decor inspiration and saved items on an Amazon wish list for her to go through so she could look at affordable options she wanted to purchase. I also want to note, I have already planned her bachelorette party and just needed to call and finish the booking process completely as we are a little more than a month out. It's being hosted in town at a very chilled night as she's requested. I travel for work. I turned down multiple jobs so I would be close to her for the wedding and the event. If she were to need my help planning these last few months, this has resulted into me being out of work for the last 3 months because she was upset I was going to be out of state. There just have been no jobs close enough to home, if that made sense, as I'd have to drive back home multiple times during my assignment. But I finally found a job. Hooray! I literally rearranged my career just to be close by to help her. It was a shock to me to receive a very lengthy text this week telling me she was going to have someone else take over as maid of honor and she was demoting me to a bridesmaid because I told her I may not be able to attend the bridal shower due to work. I could only submit a request for the weekend off of her wedding. I would attend rehearsal, but maybe not rehearsal dinner, because I was under the impression I have to pay for dinner myself, and it was a very expensive restaurant. And because I cannot currently afford to get my nails done the day before the wedding, and I told her I likely won't be attending that event either. Finances are tight with a new house, personal wedding planning, and a baby on the way. She also feels I haven't communicated with her enough, even though I check in at least once a month and ask if she needs anything. I always end these convos with telling her, reach out to me if something comes up. Also, apparently, my texts don't come off as being excited for her. That's her words, which makes her mad. I guess she feels like I don't want to be involved at all because of these few things, thus her stripping me of the position after I've done all this work. This text also came right after I asked if we could have a backup learn how to bustle her dress in case my pregnant belly doesn't allow me to bend and squat very well. Well, apparently that saddened her I even asked. She said she needs someone who'll be there for me for all the events physically and to support her. I feel pretty bummed and disrespected right now, as if nothing I did mattered. I'm considering stepping down because after this, I don't know, would I be the a-hole for doing so? Okay guys, that's not quite the end of the story. There's one small paragraph with an update. I'll read it now. It states, I sent a text last night that outlined essentially everything I've done, and I listed in this post, and I expressed how hurt and disrespected I felt. I told her what I felt at Maid of Honor is that, and I felt this wasn't it, that it's basically transactional and based on what more I could afford. I also included the fact that she hasn't personally communicated with me much either lately about the wedding or my personal life. I politely let her know I'd be stepping down. Sent over 8 hours ago with no response yet. Well guys, that's the mini update. There's one comment from the original post that I agree with, and I think my opinion is the same. Not the a-hole. I would step down from this friendship. Turning down jobs for her wedding is a hill to die on for me. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below. So I always go back and search for the updates on all the stories I make videos for. Turns out, guys, there's an update for this story. You're not going to believe how this one turned out. Let's hop into the final update of the day right now. Thank you all for so much of the kind comments and support. I felt validated in my decision to ultimately step down from the wedding overall. It was good to hear from others that I wasn't overreacting and being hormonal, laugh out loud. The update's kinda boring, but an update nonetheless because of a couple comments asked for it. Sorry it took so long. Guys, I sent a long text to my friend 2 days after my original post. The text was outlining everything I've done for her and why I felt so disrespected in her decision to demote me from Maid of Honor, so close to the wedding. I was also sure to tell her I've lost a lot financially and I'm trying to be a good friend and stay close to her for her wedding and events like she wanted. I ended the message telling her I still want her to enjoy her day and I don't want it to be full of any drama or bitterness. So I felt it's best that I step down from it all. It took 2 full days for her to respond. We went back and forth a bit with her telling me additional reasons for demoting me where I hadn't been texting her enough and asking her about her personal life. I wasn't, quote, excited enough in my messages about the wedding, etc. Essentially, she felt I was more concerned with my own life currently, pregnancy and finding a job than I was with her wedding. There was a lot of pity me messages from her, and after reiterating that I no longer want to be in the wedding at all, I stopped replying. I haven't heard from her in over 3 weeks. I've returned my bridesmaid dress, and I feel so at peace with my decision. I don't think I'll be attending the wedding at all. Thank you all for the well wishes for my pregnancy and baby as well. We found out last week it's a baby boy. I also start my new job this week, so time to get my finances back on track and try to fix the mess that's been created in that area before baby is here. Well, that's the update, guys. I thought it was hilarious when OP's friend stated, essentially she felt I was more concerned about my own life, pregnancy, and finding a job. Yeah. How dare you be more concerned about your own financial security and the ability to provide for your family than her wedding? Good riddance. I'm glad this person's out of your life. I don't think she was a friend. I think she was a user and an enabler. So my verdict for this one is not the a-hole. Drop your opinions of this update in the comment section below. And guys, That's gonna bring today's story to an end. I hope you enjoyed the content of this one. If you did, show a little bit of love and support by smashing that like button, and I hope to catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye for now.